delighted to say we have David Reidy on now of Clare, who's teamed up with Allianz today to look ahead to the upcoming Allianz Hurling League final this weekend. For more information, go to allianz.ie/stop the drop. David, how are things with you?
Not too bad. Thanks, Shane, for having me on. I think I could have been a few minutes late. It's like trying to get into Fort Knox there, trying to input the password and everything. So
look, we got you in. That's the main thing. And look, we're not going to put you on the spot asking you all these tricky questions about the league final or whatever. Instead, we're going to just have a bit of crack and do a bit of a Q&A, that sort of stuff, keep it nice and light. So if you're happy with that, or we could ask you the hard ones. It's up to you.
Oh, we keep it nice and light, Shane.
Okay, well, look, I asked this one to Adrian Mullen a few minutes ago. Who's your current favourite player to watch? And they can't be from Clare.
Can't be from Clare. Probably a strange one. Stephen O'Keefe, maybe from Ballygunner.
Really?
Yeah. Strange, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, look, we know he's an excellent player, but what is it about his game that you really like watching?
I just think the way he kind of commands that defence. Again, never played against him in the club, but when he was with Waterford, played against him a couple of times. But you can see that he commands the structure of a solid defence, and the way he does that, then his distribution is second to none, and the shot stopping as well is as good as anyone in the country. So, again, faced plenty of shots. He faced plenty of my shots, but not many of them went in.
Who's your favourite player of all time? This can be Clare if you want.
Geez, we'll go back to the hard questions. So, no, it's probably a tricky one. Again, probably the likes of a Kilkenny lad, unfortunately, but the likes of Owen Larkin or someone like that. Just the ball winning ability. Again, it was, I suppose, that team that kind of won the 4 in a row and the multiple All-Irelands that, I suppose, as a fan, you like to see, especially a young fan, you like to see good hurling, and he was definitely one of them that definitely he kind of brought it every day. The way he won the ball, took his scores, brought everyone else into the game as well. So he's up there.
Adrian McGrath, who's a Clare man, is asking, is Gino or Nuggy your favourite hurler of all time? I have no idea who that is.
Barry Nugent is Nuggy, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He'd have the wrists, and again, he was only still playing junior for the last couple of years, so he'd be up there, right? But I wouldn't have got movement from watching him.
A subtle cut.
What's your earliest memories of ever playing a competitive hurling match? Well, I mean, as insofar as an underage hurling game is competitive.
Probably under 14. So again, there would be kind of town league up until under 12. So I probably would have started only probably under competitively like that, under 10 maybe. And then you kind of got distributed into the couple of different clubs that were around, the likes of the Banner, Erogue, Clarecastle. So a couple of different clubs like that. So again, once got to Erogue, that's when I suppose I really remember hurling and playing games more so than anything else underage.
Who's the man when it comes to a pre-match speech?
Again, another question is who's the funny man in the panel? I like to be laid back enough now. I don't like to get too uptight and too tense before games. So I always have a good chat with Ian Galvin before games. Again, even if you don't have to have a chat with him, just watch him, and he could be doing anything. Just enjoy sitting down, looking at him doing something probably that most hurlers probably wouldn't be doing.
So he's a mentor.
Would you be of the mind, David? Different, like no 15 or no 26 are the same in a dressing room. Some lads love being riled up. They love it, and they love being emotional and going out. Sounds like you're the opposite of that, and you like to not get too excited in a way.
I'd be kind of probably in the middle. It was actually funny because we had a game, it could have been 2 years ago, for a club game against Ina Kilnamona, and Jason McCarthy got a very bad injury, and the game was stopped for the bones of 45 minutes or even a bit longer. So we went back into the change room, and again, very rarely experienced kind of a stop in the middle of a game like that, and looked over into the corner, and there was two lads sitting back on their phone, Gavin Cooney and Shane O'Donnell, two lads that play inter-county, one football, one hurling. And I was like, Jesus, this, like, we're going out playing a championship game, quarterfinal, or whatever it was. Like, what are you doing? Probably scrolling on Twitter or something. But that worked for them. So again, for me, I just had to turn away and don't be looking at them and just mind my own business type thing. But yeah, everyone's different. So I'd say I'm somewhere in between. I don't like to be too riled up, or I wouldn't be that laid back. I'd be on my phone, like.
I can't see O'Donnell on his phone in the dressing room. The Brian Lohan is in somehow now here.
And we see Adrian McGrath asking, how close did you get to going the soccer route before 2013 and under 21?
Yeah, I went over to England with Yeovil Town for the ones of 10 days. Again, it was a great experience. So again, that could have been, I'd say I was under 16. But yeah, obviously that I'm still here, that I didn't make it. but it was the whole experience. Kind of like, they had just started an academy at that stage, so we were kind of one of the first kind of few over away from England. But the experience of living in a dig for the bones of 10 days, training a couple of times a day, watching the lads go to school, it was a great experience. But again, as I said, I didn't make it. That's that side of the water.
Where did you play,
doubt
David?
Right wing or up front.
I thought you were going to be a command and centre back.
I have the physicality for it, all right. Unfortunately not, no.
I just want, and actually funny enough that you were talking about another sport there. What player from another sport would you admire?
Reidy.
Yeah.
And again, it's probably the way he played the game. There was 100 miles an hour, 100%. There was no game, no matter who he was playing against, that he kind of took a step backwards. That he gave every team the utmost respect, and by doing that, he had to go in every challenge, every kick of the ball was 100%.
And then in terms of a manager from another sport, is there anyone who'd have the head and shoulders above everyone else?
I'm a United fan, so Sir Alex, I suppose, is one of the greats.
I thought you were going to say Ralph Rangnick or Ollie Solskjaer.
No, although I did like the Solskjaer stick to football interview. I don't know, did you see it? Again, it was very insightful to, I suppose, the characters, maybe inside in the dressing room, and maybe the lack of characters as well to a certain degree. Is
it painful watching Man United at the moment? It's great for the rest of us.
Yeah. Again, the game against the last night against Brentford, we kind of had it switched off, and then the way that they scored the goal in the last 5 minutes of added time and then to concede as well, there's something lacking there. And again, it's probably from the top down, where players definitely have to put their hands up and look at themselves.
If United were a GA club, the committee would have been gotten rid of, the manager would have been gotten rid of, and you'd be playing all the minors, I'd say, now at this stage.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there'll be family feuds left, right, and centre. What team do you most like to beat, David?
Stick to soccer question there.
No. You could go club or a county here. We'll give you a bit of an out.
There's not much of an out there, because there's no out. It's actually worse.
Yeah. I did play a good bit of soccer, though, in fairness. 2019, I took a year out with Clare, and I played a lot of soccer with Newmarket Celtic. And again, they won 8 or 9 leagues and cups in a row. And I suppose the biggest rivalry there was with Avenue. From the town of Ennis, massive club as well, but that rivalry is kind of like Newmarket took it over for a long while, but it's probably swinging the other way now again, where Avenue are coming back really strong.
So your biggest rivals were a team from the town that you live in and play hurling with, like.
Yeah, basically. But it's like that. That's soccer, though. Like, again, if that's in the GA circles, like, you've one club and that's your club. But in soccer, it's completely different. It's funny the way, and again, even for a GA person, that I suppose when you go play soccer, like, you don't bring them kind of loyalties of your GA club with you yet. So I'm sure some people won't be too happy with that.
What's the most unusual job you've ever had in your life?
Jesus, when I was in school, a kitchen porter in the West County for a while.
Okay.
I was scrubbing pots. I suppose I was in the kitchen then as well for scrubbing pots. So my outlet would be maintenance man in the West County. And I suppose he got me the job. But again, like it was only for a summer. And probably that was long enough, and it probably put me on the right road to get an education and see where that brings me.
Who's the joker on the panel? Maybe you've answered this already, actually. Is it Ian Galvin?
Yeah, we'll stick away from Ian. Ian gets too much credit, probably. Give it to the likes of Davy Fitz or something. He get a good laugh out of himself and Peter Duggan be two good messers.
Okay. Who's the best trainer?
Davy Mack is savage. Every day you mark him or he's on the field that you know you're going to be in a tough situation that he won't leave any stone unturned to give his 100%. A bit like a Roy Keane of the GA side of things.
Okay. Who's the best dressed and who's the worst dressed?
Shane O'Donnell's the worst dressed anyways. Some of them, he has these white high top boots that I don't know where he got them, but they're not a style icon. Most definitely. So, best dressed in. David Fitz comes in sharp, coming from work.
Okay. In suits or what are we talking about here?
Yeah, a bit of a mixture. A bit of suits, tie on sometimes. Sometimes the top one left open. Yeah.
Okay, turning heads. What do you remember of your first time ever being at Croke Park?
At Clare last, probably 2002. Was it against Kilkenny?
Yeah.
That 2002, yeah. Again, I think I went probably up with my uncle who's from Westmeath. Two of us sitting up or Hogan, and again, it was a joy to see that Kilkenny team play. But then when it was Clare on the opposite end, it was a tough one as well. Okay.
What player loves the media attention? Now, obviously, you're in the media here today, so it's not an ideal spot for you. But who loves it?
We give it to Shane Meehan. He's been wheeled out for a lot of gigs over the last while. And again, it's grand for some of the college students that they've a bit of time on their hands between courses or between classes. That's what they're telling us, anyways. But we'll give it to Shane.
Do you enjoy doing bits of media, David, or would you prefer to not be doing it? Do you ever think it in any way affects your performance at the weekend or anything like that? Some lads like it, and like it maybe even takes their mind off things. How do you kind of view it?
I don't mind it, to be honest, as long as it's kind of structured. What I wouldn't like is again I have a block of a time for a couple of interviews today, and that's it. If it was dragging on, or if it was dragging on over a couple of days before coming to a game, I'd be saying no. But like again, we actually did the podcast, myself and Adrian O'Sullivan, over the women's hurling back in COVID times. We did it for kind of 2 years.
That's right. Yeah.
And again, the fact it wasn't doing something like that, it wasn't in male intercounty or male club season. So to take you're not going to get lambasted basically for saying something that someone else could take, I suppose, bring to their performance against you. It was on nearly a different code basically, and it was really enjoyable. Again, that was I think 2019 and 2020, and then I suppose we came back 100% with Clare. I was back in with the panel as well, so I just didn't have the time to put that much attention on it.
Who thinks the ladies love them? Like, who's the shaper?
I better not get anyone in trouble here, but
I can tell you, David, who the biggest shaper in the three of us is, and he's it's not you and it's not me.
I see he has the hair gel in here as living the Dublin high life, is it?
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, but it's definitely one of the young lads they're in college. They always seem to have a good semester one, and maybe get a missus then to quieten them down for semester two or something like that.
What's the first time that you played at Croke Park actually, or like, is there an early days like inter-county game that kind of really stood out for you that was memorable?
I suppose one of the first ones was. I suppose when the first ones they're playing in Croke Park, I think it was against Galway could have been 16 or 17. I think it went to a replay.
18.
18
yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 18. That went to
I tell you
replay,
why I know, David, and I don't like to say this, because it was your first time in Croke Park since the 13 All-Ireland final. That's how I know.
It was 18, so but yeah, that was the first time in Croke Park. But like I suppose the first time, my first memory would have been of playing into county was probably not in the limelight. It was against Antrim in Port or somewhere around Laois in pre-season. And again, I know we got a bus up to Antrim, or bus up to Laois. Sorry, again, it could have been early January in a challenge game, and I think only 20 of us went up, and it was kind of all the new lads on the panel that went up. Hail, snow, the worst conditions you've ever played in. And again, I was playing corner forward on a dog of a cornerback. So I was getting no ball coming in. We were against the wind in the first half. And just being the ball of the hurling, I got well used to into county hurling in the first 35 minutes.
And okay, next question then. Who's the most famous person that follows you online?
Can I say Shane O'Donnell? No?
I suppose.
Yeah, he had a good 30-minute interview there, so again, that's probably it. I don't think no big players or no big people follow me. I'm a bit boring online.
What's your proudest day playing?
Probably Dalian's League in 2016. Again, we don't have many medals in Clare. If you look back through our history, that you can count nearly on one hand the medals between Alliance League and national medals. So that was success. I came on the panel in 2014, missed the 2013 All-Ireland. So that was something big. And since then, we've been trying to build something better. We lost kind of 4 months of finals, 2 to Cork, 2 to Limerick. But we've taken learnings from each one of them. I suppose that's probably the biggest thing. Any games that we've won the last couple of years or lost the last couple of years, we've been taking learnings and trying to build that collective mindset in terms of going to the next level.
Just so another couple of quick fire ones. Biggest disappointment of your career?
We lost the club championship 2 years ago to Ballier. Again, it's a great Ballier team. Again, it's basically the same team that got to the All-Ireland final, won Munster. Couple of new players in, couple of old players left it, but we were probably in a winning position going down the home straight. But that Ballier, I suppose, characteristics of never say die. They pulled it out of the fire that day and probably deserved to win at the end of the day.
Who's been the biggest influence on your career?
My mother. Again, brought me like a mini, my own personal taxi. Brought me everywhere. So again, it'd be a shame to leave her out of it. If I visited home, leaving her name out of it, I don't know, would I be too welcome?
Favorite stadium to play in?
Cusack Park, home venue as well. Again, you've seen the way sport has come from Munster Championship games. Place is rocking. Again, no better feeling winning there with that support.
Okay, that's the end of my Q&A. Michael, if there's anything you want to ask David.
Just one quick one, David, and it's a similar question that Shane probably would have asked. Like, if you could look back at your younger self, like 18 years old, 19 years old, any piece of advice you'd give to yourself?
I'm not sure the piece of advice, like, again, the way the game has gone, like, I'm probably as fit and as strong as I've ever been, and I'm 30 now, been on the panel 10 years. I think the way that S&Cs have come into the game down, especially the last 2 S&Cs we've had, Adrian O'Brien and Lucas at the moment, 2 of them have been top class. I suppose we've like, you always hear these stories of pre-season or dogged to get fit, which that's not the case. There's a science behind it now that you're not dogged. We train, and we train hard when we train, but you're not being dogged. You're not going out running in up massive hills or anything. You're doing all game-based stuff. So I would have loved to seen if we had that science back when I started, where I could be physically, but strength and fitness wise at this stage in my career.
Basically, what you're saying is you weren't doing the running that Mike Mack had the boys doing in '95, etc.
I don't think we ever got that bad now either. So I think
no, it's the famous one that the Sparrow disappeared into a bush or something like that, and reappeared as the boys were coming back down the hill or something like that. I think something along those lines.
We had a few of them in our early days. That we had a running in Ballybeg Woods there in Ennis. Big track, and there was a couple of shortcuts, but the manager had a couple of their backroom staff around each of the shortcuts. But sure, then they leave one out, and we had one right fit fella. This was pre-season now, but one was extremely fit. So we were in groups of 5 and 6. So we the whole way around we were egging them on now that for the second lap, you will do that yourself. We'll take the shortcut, and when you come back, we'll join you again. So and that's what happened. So it was. It was quite funny, but again, I suppose if we did the run, would we have been fitter?
There you go. Yeah, never know. Saying that, you're run smart, not run smart rather than run far. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. We still got the same time as the fitness, so we're okay.
Well, look, David, really appreciate you joining us, and best of luck in the league final and for the year ahead.
Excellent. Appreciate it, lads. Thanks.
Cheers, Dave.